we're going to be discussing some very new features today, as well as taking a look at our product roadmap. So before we do that, we need to review Salesforce's Safe Harbor slide. If you're unfamiliar with this slide, all it asks is that as we're going to be discussing our product roadmap, that we base all purchasing decisions on Salesforce based only on current functionality.
Hi folks, my name is Kushwan Singh. Most people call me Kush. I'm a product manager here at Salesforce and I work on the files experience side of things. Really excited to be here to talk to you about all of the great features we have in the Winter 16 release. So let's spend a few minutes on files. Here in the Files team, one of our key priorities really is ensuring that we are surfacing the most relevant content and files in the flow of your business or your context. Whether that context is in communities, whether that context is in chatter, whether that context is in your organizational business flows. Here on the team, we're constantly thinking about three things. One, how do we make it easy for our customers to create and collaborate on files? Two, how do our customers and make it easy for them to organize it and share it? And three, how do we make it easy for our customers to discover those files? And so these 3 points follow us into the Winter 16 release. In the Winter 16 release, we've been busy on quite a few points. One of the biggest areas of our investment has been in Lightning. And as Michael showed, as Rachel showed, and as many of you have highlighted, many of you may have heard coming out of Dreamforce, Lightning is our next generation user experience. And one of our key priorities has been in establishing the files footprint within Lightning itself. Starting off with the Lightning Files Home, what we have done there is set in motion our vision to unify the destination for all things files. I know many of you have come back to us and said in Salesforce Classic, we see a home for content, we see a home for libraries, we see a home for files. And so with the Lightning Files Home, we have set in motion our vision to unify all of that. With the Lightning File Picker, which Rachel had showed and which we will show in our demo as well, we've actually tried to reduce the cognitive confusion that our users experience when picking files. Do I upload from my desktop, or do I pick from the Salesforce cloud? So we've made that very seamless across the board. Similarly, with Lightning Files Card, again, back to our point around ensuring that we are surfacing the most relevant content in the flow of your business. This card surfaces those relevant files, whether you're in an opportunity, what sort of a record, whether you're in a group, profile, etc. It's just there and surfacing the relevant content for you. And then finally, I know we've heard a lot about the Lightning Files Preview Player. I think fundamentally, think about this. This is a HTML5 based preview player, no Flash. It uses scalable vector graphics, and what that means is that if you're previewing the file on a mobile device, if you're previewing the file on an Apple TV, or if you're previewing the file on a large screen monitor or a projector, it renders flawlessly. And so a lot of investment going on in Lightning Files footprint. We're not done yet. A lot more coming in the future as well. And you'll see me demo this and talk about it in our roadmap as well. Another thing that we worked on was really extend our value proposition for connecting silos of information. With Files Connect, today in Salesforce Classic, you have access to your silos of information in Microsoft, in Google, and as Michael alluded, in communities now, with Visualforce-based communities, you will have access to those as well. And so a lot of exciting stuff happening on that front. A next area of investment has been in Sync. Now, the Salesforce Sync product, we've had it around for a few releases, but for those of you, who have heard this for the first time, think of this as Dropbox, but for the enterprise. And our 2 areas of investment in the Sync product have been, one, in introducing a managed package that administrators can deploy in their organization in a more controlled fashion. And second, we've bumped up the maximum file size limit from 500 MB to 2 gigabytes. And so another key pain point that we've heard from our customers that we wanted to address. And finally, last but not least, we have introduced Apex triggers that would allow file authors to actually limit the sharing of files externally. Another big one that we've heard from our customers around, look, we love the fact that we can share via link, but how do we ensure that no one shares this file outside our company? And so that's another area of investment. So all in all, a lot happening in the Winter 16 release that we clearly hope that you enjoy. Let's now transition over to the demo, where what we'll do is we'll walk through a number of the features that I'd highlighted. And for our demo, we'll again use our our friendly Northern Trail Outfitters organization will use Eric, who's immensely hardworking. Eric is in the marketing division, and he is working with his marketing group to come up with the first call PowerPoint deck for their latest line of tires, XJ tires. The marketing team is coming up with the first call deck. They're creating the content, they're collaborating, and they're going to be publishing this to the sales team, for the sales team to use that first call deck to go and get the right opportunity and close the deals. And so if we can switch over to the demo, what you see here on my screen is the Salesforce Classic experience. We are on the marketing team group, and again, lots of healthy conversations going on. You see references to external files in Google. You see call-outs for cases. You see call-outs for opportunities, all of them relevant to this particular group. And similarly, you see a lot of relevant files to this particular group. Now, coming up here, moving up to the top, you see Eric, and Casey's actually put a post in to Eric saying, look, hey Eric, I'd love if you could, here's the first draft for the first call deck for the XJ tires. I'd love if you could download this, if you could work on this, finish it up, and publish this to the marketing team, to the sales team for them to consume. What Casey has also done is she's also referenced a file which is hosted externally within the Microsoft Cloud. And so what Eric will do is, Eric will say, all right, I've got to work on this deck, so let me go ahead and first sync the file down to my local drive. Now, before I click on sync, let me just kind of draw your attention to this little cloud we have over here, right? And so this sits in your tray, right? It works in the background, and it just basically kind of gives you a sense of what's going on. Now, another thing I should call out, when you install the Salesforce File Sync client, you will also have a drive surface within your File Explorer called Salesforce Files. And so as you can see here, this is Eric. He's got a lot of folders. And so let's go ahead and sync that file down. So Eric goes and clicks on sync. That brings up a representation of the files that he has on his machine. And let's go ahead and click on marketing, and sync this down. And so what you'll notice here is this little cloud gets really busy and starts syncing this file down. Now, while that's happening, what Eric will do is Eric will also want to find out about the pricing information. So he needs the pricing information to complete the first call deck. And so he clicks into this link over here, which automatically takes Eric into Office 365. So right from the convenience of Salesforce. And so Eric clicks into this to understand all of the pricing information. And once he's got all of the pricing information, let's kind of go back. He's got all of the information he needs to actually begin editing the deck. And so let's kind of go back into Eric's File Explorer. And you see the XJ Tires first call deck right there. And so he goes in. This fires up our friendly PowerPoint. So he goes in, makes a few changes. Right, add some color, goes in, add some pricing information, and we're done. So he saves this. And again, what this does is that it kind of tells the Salesforce Files Sync client to get busy. And so you can see the cloud start syncing those changes back up to the cloud. So we'll close this, and let's go back to the Explorer. From the File Explorer itself, what Eric can do now is he can right-click this right from the convenience of the File Explorer. He can go ahead and now share the completed first call deck for XJ Tires to the sales team. And so what that does is that it brings up, again, Salesforce Classic. Again, from the convenience of your Explorer, takes you right back into Salesforce. And here, what he will do is he's going to just share this with the sales team. And just going to put a post here. Here is the first call deck. Let's go get him. All right, so he goes ahead and shares this. And what we have just gone through is an immensely compressed, but a very typical process that our customers go through around creating and collaborating on that content. Now, for our next portion of our demo, let's switch over to let's switch over to the sales side of things, and let's see how Vanessa, our salesperson, actually discovers this piece of content. So let's do this. Let's switch over to Vanessa. And so Vanessa's here on the sales group, and she's in Salesforce Classic, and let's just kind of refresh that one more time. And immediately she sees that there is a post here by Eric with the first call deck. And so what she can do is she can go ahead and start cracking on this. But before we do that, let's just take a moment and switch over to Lightning. And again, I do want to underscore that the switching over to Lightning is just one click away. And when you do that, we do want to underscore that all of your data just comes along with it, right? And so there's no migration, there's no data loss. It's right there seamlessly on one click. And so what you can see here is Vanessa lands on the new Lightning experience. And so here we have on stage left, we have all of the apps or the call to actions that many of you might be familiar with. Now, one of them, again, is Files. And notice that if you click into Files, you'll see what we have done here is set in motion us getting on path for a unified files home. So when we move down, as we go release to release, this is the place where you will find all of your files. And so again, trying to get rid of the cognitive confusion around, do I click on content, do I click on libraries? We're not there yet in Winter 16, but again, this is setting the stage up for getting us there. Now, so let's go back, and so let's go back to the groups, and so let's go back to the sales group. And so here again, Vanessa, as Rachel called out, there's a lovely announcement out there. And what Rachel does is, what Vanessa sees is she sees the post by Eric. As you go further down, she also sees a lot of related files. And so this again is the files card coming in seamlessly over there. Just to call out again, she can go ahead and put a post, and when you click on attach file, what this brings up is our Lightning files picker, which again, instead of giving you a choice or two choice which says upload a file or select a file from Salesforce, we've just kind of streamlined this into a single user interface to remove that cognitive load. Now again, Vanessa's here, she decides to click on this. And what this does is that it brings up the Lightning preview player. And again, to stress this is a HTML5 based preview player. It uses scalable vector graphics, and so renders flawlessly. Within the preview player, we've got actions, we've got download, upload, file details. You also have the ability to go into full screen mode. And as Michael highlighted, we've done this entire presentation off the preview player. And so really we're truly dogfooding our own product. We truly believe that our sales customers who are going to be on the road will actually feel pretty comfortable demoing their sales presentations or whatever presentation off the new Lightning file previewer. So in a nutshell, we've really spent a lot of time listening to some of our pain points our customers are facing. We're setting the stage within Lightning to unify and introduce a unified files home. And we're really looking at simplifying the user experience across the board. We are heads down on unifying our files home. And so as we think about libraries, as you think about our sync folders, think about our synced files, this is something that we are moving into the unified files home that we just highlighted in the demo. Another thing to call out is we've often got a question around libraries. Is that the right way to think about it? This is really official kind of content that we want to publish. And so we are actively thinking about rebranding libraries into company folders. We're also actively thinking about giving users the ability to just specify whether this file is ready to go. And so even without putting it into a company folder or a library for that matter. And then we're also, in an effort to expand our integration of the various silos of information, we will be introducing Box very shortly, Box integration into shortly. I know we've heard a lot about that as well. Now, Rachel talked about the multi-file attachment feed posts. Again, this is one of our top asks that we have got, and so really excited to have that coming down very shortly as well. And then finally, among others, we're simplifying how sharing is being done. Now we've got a lot of platform capabilities that we don't expose today, or that we expose today in Salesforce Classic, where we could improve. Things along the lines of putting shares behind a password, setting expiration dates for files that you share. These are all things that are available in the platform. These are all things that our customers have found ways to use. And what we've tried to do is now, what we're going to be doing at least, is introduce that within the Lightning experience in a very simplified, graceful way that people actually find very easy to use. And so, again, a lot happening. And again, a lot of this could not happen without the feedback that we're getting from our success communities, from our customers. So please keep that coming. We want to keep improving, and we're really excited for what's to come.
So what if you have a customer, they've invested a lot of time putting together their libraries in Salesforce Classic, and they're thinking about, well, what's going to happen in the future with folder structures.
Right.
How is that structure going to work in the new environment? Will it carry over? Do they have to reconfigure it?
Sure. Here at Salesforce, one of our fundamental principles that we keep very close to our heart is trust. We realize that our customers are making lots of investments and customizations to their products, and libraries is no different as well. And so as we move to the concept of company folders, everything will carry over. All of your customizations will carry over. All of your content will carry over. We also know of customers who are not using the term libraries. They've got, they may call it something else, as references, etc. Namings, all of that will carry forward, so that all of the customizations that you have invested in heavily, we carry forward and we stay true to our policy of trust.
Great, thank you. Now, if you're interested in the managed version of File Sync, how would you go about getting that access to that?
Sure. I'd say the best way is to ping me on Success Community, and we'll go from there. Fundamentally, with the managed package, it's best that we take some time to understand the level of deployment, and so that we can assist any sort of large-scale deployment from there. And hence, feel free to ping me, my team, on the Success Community.
All right. Great. I have one more question that's, I think it may be more related to current functionality.
Sure.
But without File Sync, can multiple users collaborate on a single file if you're not using File Sync?
Well, if you're not using File Sync, at this point of time, I think Chatter offers a great way to collaborate on files itself. But I do see the point around being able to edit in line itself. And so we've seen a lot of customers actually work with reference files. So files maybe that are hosted within Google, within Microsoft, and editing it within that particular environment, and then collaborating through Chatter itself. But again, I think this is something that's top of mind for us to support editing directly within Salesforce, whether that's a native file or whether that's a file that is within one of the silos of Microsoft or Google. But this again is stuff that we are actively thinking as part of our roadmap for this year.